He's blinded by brands, never questions the Lord. Waving that Joy-Con like it's a sword. But all he's fighting is the facts he ignored.
Hello everyone, I'm the Angry Vigilante. This is my side channel where I post reaction videos to salty fanboys pulled straight from my live streams on my main channel, The Angry Vigilante Show. On the main channel, I also cover gaming news, rants, and full game reviews. I'll leave a link down below and you're more than welcome to come and subscribe and also hang out with me live every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Pacific time. One of our favorite ones.
Fact has been very interesting because it truly has demonstrated a core problem with the community that does need to be
God bless you too, Tobias.
addressed. Like, namely, the games that are worshipped, that are hyped up, that are worth buying a PlayStation and Xbox for are suddenly not a big deal if they see a release on Nintendo Switch 2. And it
Who says that? Harmon, do you understand when you guys get games that are like really old ports? Congratulations, you guys get to play some good games. But we're not going to sit here and parade and clap for it when we've been playing them for how long now?
It's so easy to look at this recent Nintendo Direct and try and say like all of it is late ports or that none of it is relevant and none of it's competitive. That is not true at all. Like, there were exclusive titles in there. There were titles that hadn't come out yet. And
Harmon, there were a lot of stuff we already knew was coming. There were two games that I can remember we knew were coming and had release dates. Stuff we already knew was coming. They didn't have any like a big wow moment, what they should have had.
there are AAA major games from Capcom in particular
That we already knew were coming.
that were getting day and date releases. So
We already knew that before. Wasn't like it was something new.
Pragmata and Resident Evil 9,
We already knew were coming.
under normal circumstances, would have been seen as major like releases and like
Yes, if we didn't know they were coming and they just showed up randomly, I would agree with you. But again, Harmon, we knew they were coming. Okay, why are we going to applaud something we already knew was coming?
things to look forward to for this console. But the reason these are being written off and ignored is because that they are getting Nintendo Switch 2 releases. Okay,
No, they're not written off and being ignored. They're being written off and ignored because we already knew they were coming. What is the point of jumping for joy for something we already knew?
we have tons of games coming out on the Switch 2 over the past several weeks, many of them that are launching day and date with other consoles, and yet you still have reaction channels like trying to sit there and trying to do this thing like where like, oh, I've already played that, like for games that haven't
Yes. Wait, they're not saying for games that haven't come out yet, Harmon. Stop the cap.
come out yet. That's the reoccurring thing with this direct, the reoccurring trend. Like, we have tons of games coming out over the next month. I'm picking up like 4 of them in February alone, I think.
Awesome. No one really cares. Which 4? Let me guess. Mario Tennis. What's another one? Picking up that. I don't remember all the other games. Oh, Resident Evil 9. What else, Harmon? What else are you picking up?
Mario Tennis, Yakuza 3. Oh no, I got Dragon Quest 7 as well. Tales of Berseria, Resident Evil 9. So yeah.
Oh, you're not going to pick up Tokyo Scrambled, Harmon? I might, but I'm just waiting for the reviews first.
5 titles in a month, and then like March has like Pokapia. There are a couple of other games coming out in March as well. And then you have April where we're getting like Tomodachi Life and Pragmata. So like basically there are tons of games coming out in like the future. Not even like counting like smaller releases and like.
No one's saying that there's not tons of games, Harmon, but a lot of the stuff in there we already knew. Yes, there was some stuff that's exclusive that was good to see. A lot of old ports, but there wasn't that wow moment. We wanted some big major AAA game announced. That's what we wanted.
Ports and Nintendo Switch 2 editions, like Mario Wonder expansions coming out in March, late
Yeah, nobody cares. Literally no one cares. No one cares about another $80 game.
March. So like you have games like that. You have all this great stuff coming out. And yet you have all these reaction channels trying to say that like none of it matters, that none of it's competitive, that like there's nothing to get excited for, and it's embarrassing.
To a lot of people, there is nothing to get excited for. When you already know that what's coming, we're not going to get excited for. Like, great, we already knew. We already were planning on buying it. I'm already sold on Resident Evil 9. I don't need another trailer to see. I'm already sold on Pragmata. I don't need another trailer to see Pragmata. Okay, these games I'm already sold on.
Embarrassing. Like,
I'm already sold on Monster Hunter Stories 3. I didn't need to see another trailer. Now, The Adventures of Elliot, it was nice getting the release date, but I'm already sold on the game.
it really, truly, genuinely is. Because, like, what exactly are you looking forward to? Is what
We were looking forward to having a partner showcase to showcase a major title we didn't know was coming that was new. That's what we were looking forward to.
I want to know. Like, what it seems to be to me is that outside of, like, Mario and Zelda, most of these people don't really play a ton of Nintendo games at all. You know, they don't have any experience with, like, any of the other series.
Well, that means that Nintendo needs to put out a Mario and Zelda game. And you can't forget Pokemon. There are a lot of people that play Pokemon.
They don't have experience with any of these other brands. Like, they really genuinely believe that Tamagotchi Life is not a big player for this year. I genuinely think it's probably going to be one of the biggest titles this year, actually.
Harmon, you were throwing a fit about it. You know, people even commented, oh, Harmon is angry at Nintendo. He's calling Nintendo out for the Tamagotchi Life. And I told them, let's see how long that lasts, because he also was criticizing DK Bonanza and he was criticizing Metroid Prime 4. But once everybody else started criticizing it, he changed ship. Look at what he's doing now.
Like, again, you keep seeing people, like, say that, like, Nintendo is doomed, they needed to.
Who is saying Nintendo is doomed? Literally. Who is saying this? Stop going on 4chan, Harmon.
Like, have a good direct, and they needed to do this, this, and this. But, like, in actuality, and I do think this is true, like, no matter how good the direct was, no matter how well Nintendo is doing, you are going to see these people cope and seethe about it. And that's been, like, a reoccurring thing for, like, since this thing got unveiled, okay? Like, people have been delusionally trying to create this narrative that this console is failing, that it's not successful, that nobody likes it, but in actuality, it's all just a massive cope. It's all just a massive cope and a seed. Like, trying to present this narrative that this console is irrelevant. That the
Who is saying that's irrelevant? We're saying that some of the titles that were announced is irrelevant. Why would I get excited for something I've already played? Why would anybody that has a Switch 2 and another platform, why would we get excited for games we already played, Harmon? If you're excited for them, great. Good for you. But what we wanted to see was a major AAA third-party title. That's what we wanted to see.
the PC is beating it. You know, like, I've seen so many people, like, pop off such, like, insane claims. Like, oh, Power World outsold Legend ZA. Like, didn't happen. Like,
Yeah, it did. I mean, it literally did. It outsold it before it even came out, technically. It's about to outsell Sword and Shield.
but the sales numbers, yeah. The sales numbers that Power World released on a JPEG, and then Jeff Keighley said were real. Okay, are you really gonna believe that? Okay.
Unless you have any facts to say otherwise, Harmon, you have no facts. You also love to bring up the PS2 one.
You can look at, like, Power World's player count right now. You can see how irrelevant it is. You know,
You're lucky we can't see all the player count for some of the Nintendo games. Let's see on that one. You can go, before when people were saying, oh, you can hop on the lobbies for Mario Kart World and they're bare bones and empty, you were saying, oh, that's not true.
you can see how, like, little social media presence they have. Like, you can tell that like all these numbers are fake. You know.
Harmon, you have no proof to back that up.
And yet it's just a tech startup where they're trying to pretend that they're bigger than they really are, right?
I mean, 25 million for a game, for their first game that hasn't even come out of early access, Harmon, that is massive. Most Nintendo games do not even hit those numbers. It's probably, by the time it finally comes out of early access, it's probably going to surpass Scarlet and Violet, Harmon.
You see people, like, trying to tell you that, like, the PS5 outperformed the Switch 2 this holiday season. The PS5 sold 8 million
It did.
units and the Switch only sold 7. As if, like, first of all, as if that's a big difference, first of all. And
I know that if it would have been the other way around, you would be saying it's a big difference.
second of all, as if, like, the PlayStation 5 didn't give itself, like, massive discounts to get them.
So did the Switch 2. Switch 2 gets an extremely cheap unit in Japan. A bigger difference between what the PS5 did.
Those numbers. Okay, it's like
So did the Nintendo with their Switch 2.
you are you're delusional, okay? And that's, like, that's just kind of my issue with this, honestly.
No one really cares what you have an issue with. We all have an issue with that damn hairline and you refuse to fix that shit.
Is that people
Jesus Christ, man, the way he had his head angled, my guy, are you really trying to be an overweight version of Vegeta?
really think Nintendo is failing and that they're struggling and that they like
No one's saying that is failing or struggling. You're just interpreting that.
they botched the release of this console, and it's just so.
I mean, the launch lineup wasn't that good. Even you guys were saying, oh, they didn't have a holiday title, even though we were saying that they didn't before.
Obviously not true. We're at the point.
Wait, am I muted? Can you guys not hear me? How am I muted? You got to be messing with me, Kong Donk. There's no way. It's showing that I'm Am I muted, guys? Guys, am I muted? Can someone please let me know if I'm muted? Am I muted, guys? Why does only one person tell me that I'm muted? Okay, yeah, see, I'm not muted. Coffee Dawn says they can hear me. What does people say I'm muted?
Right now, where you have people pointing to the stock prices as like a demonstration of how badly Nintendo is doing. And this is something I've been like repeating out.
Kong Donk, you're the one that said I was muted, didn't you? Yeah, Kong Donk, you said you are muted, and now you're saying I'm not muted? Make it make sense.
A lot lately. When the stock prices go up, when they like reach all-time highs, which I'm sure is going to happen, like when they start announcing, like when they start releasing like big new games and all that.
Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Only time's gonna tell.
Like when the stock prices go up, like you're not going to hear a peep out of these people, like because they have.
And when the stock prices plummet even more, we know we're not going to hear nothing from you. You're just going to damage control like you always do.
No idea what's actually going on. They are not familiar with the business at the side of Nintendo at all. They aren't familiar with like the standard stock prices and the stock rises
I don't think you know either, Harmon. You should probably not stick with the stocks.
and the stock falls.
Well, speaking about stocks, you can invest in whatever you want.
Like, can they tell you like what the stock price was like a year ago? Like a little bit like around where it is now. Okay, like it hit an all-time high with the Switch 2 release because of the hype of the platform, and now it's going back to its like pre-hype levels. Like that's normal. Okay, it dipped after a financial report.
I mean, it's still not good to have them skyrocket like that and go back down. That's still not a good thing.
That's normal, Like this is all stuff you would know if you knew anything about the market at all.
Harmon, just because you bought stocks doesn't mean you know what you're talking about.
And how these things typically go.
You probably open up an app and they did it for you.
But like they don't know. Like that's the problem, is that these people are ignorant. They don't look into the facts, and they
Oh, it's okay, Kong Donk.
misrepresent things in order to desperately try to make Nintendo look bad for clickbait. And I do think like the reaction to this direct is a very good example of that, because this direct basically showed off a bunch of games that will be a bunch of third-party games that we'll be getting in the next 3 months. Okay, we had like a couple of
Awesome. We still wanted to know some big ones. Most of them we already knew were coming.
June releases.
Well, not most of them. A lot of them we knew were coming.
But like, for the most part, this is like February, March, April. Okay, for the most part. So like, obviously they're gonna have like a general direct. Obviously they're gonna have more.
Yes, I keep saying, Harmon, believe me, you can cover this. I can't tell you how I know, but I know for certain that there will be a direct between now and the end of the year.
More directs in the future. So like, people who are doom and glooming about this, like, why don't you just stop and like actually look at the upcoming games on the eShop page and see just how many games are coming out on this thing?
There are some games, but we're not gonna say they're all massive games, Harmon.
Why don't you just play games that you that are already on the console? Like,
why don't you just play games and stop worrying about what other people are saying so much?
and again, this is the thing that really bothers me about this, is that like,
No one cares what you get bothered by.
the narrative that like, I have to play brand new games that are exclusive to Switch 2. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, tons of games that are coming out right now are also launching on Switch 1. And they're doing very, very well. That goes to show you just how like successful the Switch 1 has been, is that people are still buying Pokemon Legends EA on it. You know, it doesn't mean the Switch 2 is a failure. It means
No one is saying that it's a failure right now. We all acknowledge that it sold extremely well.
that people haven't moved over yet. There's no reason to. And like, again, this is a good thing. You know, they didn't abandon the platform, you know, and like, to me, it's very, very sad how desperate the community is to continue this farce that like Nintendo is failing. Like, you know,
Still would love to see all these content creators saying that Nintendo is failing, Harmon.
because they have completely neglected to mention the Switch One's existence during all of this. You know,
Because the Switch 1's old news. It's all about the Switch 2 now.
they have neglected to mention the Switch One still getting games and still being relevant. And it's like,
For how long, though? To our knowledge, it's not going to be very relevant. Even though I still would love to know how in the hell that Tokyo Scramble game is not on the Switch 1.
they are going to be very, very surprised with how well these Switch One releases do in the future. You know, Tamagotchi Life in particular.
I honestly think Tamagotchi Life is going to do well. I hope it doesn't, but I think it will.
You know, I'm predicting it's probably going to sell like upwards of 20 million units, right?
Maybe. I don't know how much this sold on the 3DS, maybe. But at that price point, that's a pretty high price point for what that game looks like.
Like, it's going to be huge. And for whatever reason, like the community and like the analysts like are really overlooking this very, very obvious blind spot. They are very, very much overlooking the fact that, you know, new games are coming out all the time, and you know,
There's no blind spot. It's not like they're going to keep it going. They're going to end it eventually, Harmon.
entire cope is that there's nothing to play is just so utterly delusional that
Harmon, most people buy the system for the first party. That's why a lot of people are saying there's nothing to play.
nobody could possibly take it seriously. It's just the reality of it. And it is high time that we really start pushing back against this kind of nonsense.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're hard and so